Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Sajid sir.
Thank you too.
So shall we wait for some time until some people join?
Sir, a couple of minutes.
Sure, sir.
चलो मिस लगाओ सर बोल रहे हैं स्पीकर
Please switch off your mics. I request the teachers to please switch off your mics. And whenever you are requested, so you can switch on and participate.
Are teachers joining with their individual devices, sir, or are they sitting in groups? Individual devices.
Right now they are in the school campus.
Okay. I think around 14 participants are there, sir. Can we start a conversation with them?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm so glad to be here with you today. And to be talking to you about a very important aspect, which is the foundational literacy and learning. And my name is Sayeda Khadija. I request you to switch off your mics. Yeah, could you please switch off your mics?
Please cooperate with the speaker.
I think Ms. Arshia, could you please switch off your mic? Yes, thank you so much. Yes. You can switch on your camera, you can switch off your mic. All right. Yes, Ms. Arshia, please switch off your mic. Somebody else, whoever has not switched off their mic. Kulkarni Pramod sir, please switch off your mic. Right, the people who are here today, we're going to be discussing about foundational literacy and numeracy. And I'm finding it difficult to speak because the voice is echoing. Could you please switch off your mics? Thank you. Somebody's still, I don't know who is it, but somebody's mic is still on. Yeah, Huda Khan, could you please switch off your mic? All right, thank you so much. So we're going to be discussing on an important topic today, that's foundational literacy and numeracy. I would like to use your chat box and please let me know what you know about this topic. And thank you for joining on time. Please let me know, what do you know about foundational literacy and numeracy? Or anybody who would like to unmute and speak can also do that. I would really like you to talk and participate in this. What do you think about, what do you know about foundational literacy and numeracy? Okay, numeracy means numbers, problems faced by numbers. Okay, thank you, Bushra. Starting stage of learning, Mahituddin. Yes, good. Literacy is reading, writing, and comprehension skills. Yes. Numeracy. Okay, good. So some responses coming in. I really like that. Yes, this is a very important topic. We're discussing foundational literacy and numeracy because this is the learning that happens in the crucial years of any child. When we're talking about the crucial years, our brain development is the maximum in the first 5 to 8 years of early life. And that is why whatever the child learns is a very important concept. How the child will learn and what the child will learn, we have to pay utmost attention to that. And the teachers who are taking foundational stage literacy and numeracy have to be well equipped with all the techniques and all the tools, that is, when we're talking about what kind of equipment we should use, what kind of language we should use in the classroom, how the children should be treated, all that becomes important. Sometimes we see that many children do not take part in early childhood education, and those children, they suffer the most. There is a strong research which shares us these figures that around 5 crore children in our India are not reaching the stage of learning. Many children are going to school. The children, those who are going to school, I'm not talking about the pandemic era, but generally, even when the children are at school, they are not able to learn. So can you tell me, can you unmute and speak? What is the issue there? Why are they not able to learn?
Their foundation is not that strong.
Okay, can you explain a little bit? What do you mean by foundation is not strong?
Basic literacy, they are unable to read and they are unable to write, understand or identify the alphabets and numbers.
Yes, true. That means they are going to school, but they are unable to identify. Any other issue with, why they are not able to learn?
Lack of money. Lack of money. Lack of money.
Lack of
As most
money.
of the children, they are living in the rural areas where they are not having the sufficient schools where they can go and learn.
Okay.
It
Bushra,
may be the reason.
yeah, Bushra, I think it's a good aspect that you brought forth, that many people are living in the rural areas, but the government has, equipment in place and, its machinery in place,
And
wherein they are
by
enrolling.
government, they are opening so many schools, but even
Mm.
though the parents of that rural areas, they are not educated
Mm.
and they are not giving that much education for the for the education of their children. And they are
Absolutely.
busy with the child, their work and whatever they are having, their farms, and they used to take their children along with them
Mm.
while they are going for the work, and they used to take the help of the children also. That may be the reason. That's why the children at the early age, they are not able to attend the schools.
Yeah, it's a very interesting perspective that the children are pushed into labor since the
Yes.
childhood. Yeah, it's a very interesting perspective, but we are not talking about such children. We are talking about children who are going to school regularly and those children who are not able to learn. What could be the
Maybe they are
barriers?
having a malnutrition practice, and even though the teachers, the way in which they are explaining, they need
Absolutely.
more interesting and they need some different sort of explanation in which the child can understand.
Absolutely. So that is the main reason actually. What is happening is when the children are coming to school, all teachers are not able to engage them effectively. That means they will learn the alphabet and they will read also. Some children, they know 25 rhymes. I've seen a child in nursery school, he's so fluent with rhymes. But if you ask him what this rhyme means, he knows nothing. He cannot tell you that Jack and Jill went up the hill. Hill means what, he won't tell you. So they are learning, but they are learning without any understanding. So that is a very big reason for children falling behind in the learning levels. So let us look at some statistics today, and we'll look at what is happening with the learning gap and why is it so, and what is the government doing and what we can do, and how all this affecting is in our current national education policy. How is it going to affect us? What is it that the national education policy is telling us, especially the teachers in the foundation stage? The national education policy has first 5 years of education, and then there is a exam in class 3. What the government says is every child in India has to write one exam in class 3, and the paper will be the same whether the child is studying in an urban area or a rural area. Wherever the child is studying, they will be given an examination, and that examination will test whether the children are ready to go to grade 4 or 5. That means, has the learning happened? Am I clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's look at the screen here. It says that what is exactly foundation literacy and numeracy? And so it is the ability to read with meaning and perform basic mathematical calculation by the end of class 3. So we are talking about reading. We are not talking about English reading. We are talking about reading in the uh, language of transaction of knowledge. That is, your children coming to the English medium schools. Most children, do not get the opportunity to go to English medium schools. They either go to their regional language school or they go to, some Urdu medium school. They have different mediums to learn. So if the child has the ability to read with meaning, then they are and also able to perform the mathematical calculation by the end of class 3. That means the child has achieved foundation literacy and numeracy. So that's the when the child is able to read fluently, it's called as oral reading fluency. And when we're talking about numbers, they have a clear sense of numbers. That means they can just not recognize numbers, but they can also compare the numbers. and they can solve the problems related with numbers. So when the child has achieved that, then it is called as the child has achieved foundation literacy and numeracy. Now, why does it matter? Why are we talking about foundation literacy? Because it's a national crisis. Now, the crisis says that 72.8% of children, when we're talking about 72.8% of the children, are not able to read a simple class 2 level sentence. Now, class 2 level sentence is nothing but, suppose I say that I ate an apple today morning. All right. Now, the child can probably read the sentence, but will not be able to explain it. So that is the level of, gap that we have in the foundational literacy. And 71.9%, they cannot solve a basic subtraction problem by class 3. So this was the research, and the figures are really sad, because if out of 100 children going to school, nearly 73 children are not able to read or write in the language that they are learning, and they're not able to solve a basic subtraction problem. So that is the reason why FLN matters. Now, there are 4 aspects when we are saying that why does FLN matter. Number 1, class 3 is considered to be the inflection point. That means once the child has reached class 3, they are expected to learn to read. That means after class 3, the teacher will not teach them how to read. Until the child reaches class 3, they will be constantly supported by the teacher. They will be supported by the parents. They will be supported by, the peers, to read, understand, and then learn what is there in the book. But after class 3, it is not so. They have to read themselves to learn. So the second point is, why does FLN matter? Those who fail to attain basic literacy and numeracy skills find it
What we
difficult.
are discussing, it is before the pandemic or after the pandemic we are discussing this percentages.
We're discussing before the pandemic. This is before the pandemic.
Now it's
It,
worse for,
it is worse.
yes.
You yourself know that when the children are out of class and in the online classroom, the effectiveness of, children learning literacy and numeracy across the screen is very, very less. So the numbers have gone worse. Now, the second point says, those who, could you please switch off your mic, Khatija Begum? Please switch off your mic. Those who fail to attain these basic literary numeracy skills find it difficult to catch up after the, in the later part of their schooling. That is when they go to class 3 and they're not able to read or do mathematics. After that, there is a constant decline. That means their growth chart does not, go upwards, but it will take a plateau and it will constantly decline. This affects the children. If the foundation literacy is not strong enough, this affects the children even in grade 10 results and much more after that. And the people who don't have a strong foundation literacy, they tend to drop out of schools. They tend to get employed in low skill jobs. Can somebody name what are the low skill jobs?
The labor job, the daily wages.
Yes, they do not get educated, hence without a degree they will get a very low skill job. Low skill job is something that does not require you to read and write, and those are very low paying jobs. So that is the effect of very weak foundational literacy skills at the pre-primary level and the primary level up to grade 2. Then these skills, the foundation literacy and numeracy skills, they help the child to acquire 21st century skills. Now, 21st century skills are something like problem solving, critical thinking, digital skills that we are talking about. We're talking about creativity. All of those skills can be acquired by children if they are strong enough to, tackle the foundation literacy and numeracy. then the future for children in India's ambition of maximizing its demographic dividend depends. So we're talking about this like in this particular point of century, the point that we are at in the century, we have a large number of population which is very young right now. And later on, they will grow older and a large amount of population will enter, into the workforce. So India is going to be, it's going to produce a workforce for the world, which is going to be literate and which is going to be the highest number of, educated individuals in a country. So if the children do not catch up on foundation literacy and learning, that means the nation will fail, and then the kind of workers that are entering into the global market, that will also be affected. That is why we are talking, about the importance of foundation literacy in the national education policy. Do you have any questions at this point of time? Okay, I take that as a no. Okay. So what has NEP done? NEP has said that in accordance with the Sustainable Development Goal 4.2, all children have to get educated irrespective of their gender bias, and wherever they live. The Sustainable Development Goal says that all children have to acquire foundation literacy and numeracy till 2030. That is the target. Now, in accordance to that, the National Education Policy has also set its target that by 2026, all the children who are in grade 3 should be literate enough to read and write. So to 2026 to 27, the target is set by NEP that they would like every child going to school to attain foundation literacy and numeracy. Now, for that, the government has launched one mission. It is called as a Nipun mission. So it has launched the National Mission of Foundational Literacy and Numeracy, and then to support this mission, National Mission of Foundation Literacy and Numeracy, is they have launched another mission which is called as Nipun Bharat, they call it. We'll be learning about it shortly. So let's look at before we go to the next slide, let us look at what is the machinery of the government in place for children going to school. Like somebody just mentioned that because of lack of money, people don't go to school, the children don't go to school, or because the parents are laborers, the children accompany the parents and they take part in earning, on a daily wage, in the daily wage jobs and contributing to the finances of the home. So, but the government has, in place some small schools called Anganwadis. Those Anganwadis are not well-established schools, but there are compounds where children, there'll be a room and there'll be a teacher, and the teacher is not very skilled or qualified. So in rural areas or in areas where there is poverty, the government has set up Anganwadis. Apart from Anganwadis, there are some primary schools that the government has set up, to in the same complex or in different complexes where the children can, gain learning from, say, pre-foundation stage up to grade 2 or 3. And apart from this, we have our private organizations. So in Nipun Bharat or in the National Mission for Foundation Literacy and Numeracy, all the different schools that are serving the community in this particular area, they are covered. So if you're saying that we are a private school, the government, examination at the end of somebody's mic is on. Could you please switch it off? Right. So when we're talking about foundation literacy and numeracy, all this is covered.
Sir, to please switch off his mic.
Yeah. So all of these schools are covered under that. So that means every organized entity will face the examination we are talking about, which is going to be given in grade 3. Whether you are a private school, whether the child goes to an Anganwadi, or whether it is a government school, all the children will have to face the examination at the end of grade 3. Then let's talk about, okay. So the highest priority of school education will be universal acquisition of the foundation learning skills by grade 3. Now, this pyramid or this inverted pyramid or iceberg, as we know it, it shows us that if the foundational skills are achieved, That will lead to better learning outcomes. Can anybody tell me what is a learning outcome?
Child is able to read and write, then it is called.
Suppose you take a class, okay, and suppose you are teaching the children some simple concept like color, and you suppose you're teaching the color red. Now in the class, when you teach, you have to write what the children will be able to do at the end of the class. That statement is called as a learning outcome. Do you write learning outcomes in your lesson plans?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can anybody unmute and tell me what could be the learning outcome of a class in which you're teaching the color red?
The children must be able to say about the red color, like the fruits which are in red color.
They have to
or
identify objects which are
they
red.
can identify the
They
pictures.
may differentiate about red color and yellow color and with the others also.
Absolutely, very good point. And they should be able to at least read, if not identify the word red. They have to individually spell the letters and understand that red makes red, right? So literacy is also about asking them or making them familiar to the spellings, making them familiar to what they're doing. So if the foundation skills are achieved, then you have better learning outcomes. So if every class has a clear learning outcome, then definitely your foundational skills will be strong. And that in turn will help higher order learning. Who can help me understand higher order learning?
The learning which is beyond the textbook, that is by
Absolutely.
using the co-curricular activities
Yes.
or by the field trips, the students, whatever they are going beyond the textbook.
Yes. Very good, ma'am. Thank you. So when we're talking
The
about
learning which was sorted by the real life situations.
yes, very nice. Absolutely. So we're talking about higher order learning. Somebody just told me that differentiate. So when we're talking about the pyramid of Bloom's taxonomy, differentiation comes in the higher order skill. So the basic skill is to name the color. Then the second skill, when we're talking about the 6 levels of the Bloom's taxonomy, differentiation is also one of the higher order skills for a pre-primary child. Okay. So am I clear until now? Is there any question you would like to ask me? Okay. Now the education
Ma'am,
system.
I have a question that before grade 3, there is no exams for first grade 1, grade 2.
You can have internal examinations. We are talking about this exam, which is going to be same for all children across India. Okay. You can have internal examinations. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Afshan, you want to ask me something? Yeah, please switch off your mic. So the education system aims to achieve foundation literacy by 2026, so that every child is able to read with comprehension, they are able to write and basic mathematical operations and learn the basic life skills. See, the most common example that I can tell you is if the child is asked to memorize, rote learn whatever they are supposed to do and come and write as an answer, that is not going to help them at all. Whatever they read and write, even if they are writing one sentence by themselves, that means that they have understood the concept and they are writing with meaning. Now, writing with meaning or writing with a purpose. Does anybody understand writing for a purpose, writing with meaning? Can anybody explain that to me? What do you mean writing for a purpose? Yeah.
Conceptual
Writing for a
understanding,
purpose means you are writing for something that is meaningful.
ma'am.
Yes, Wahiduddin, Wahiduddin, I don't know your name, but it's signed in as
My name
Wahiduddin.
is Uzma. That
Yes,
is
Uzma.
conceptual understanding.
Yes, conceptual understanding. Also, what they are, see, suppose you give them a comprehension passage that they cannot, copy paste. They have to read the question and then answer the question based on the passage. That means it is not something that they have to learn by rote, but they have to read, understand, and then frame the question answer by themselves. So that means writing for a purpose. The purpose is the question. They read the question and they write the answer. That's a purposeful writing. Or suppose you ask them that connect the dots which are in serial order between 6 to 10. So they don't have to connect the dots 1 to 5, but only 6 to 10 dots. And if they are able to do that, that means writing with a purpose. Am I clear?
It is learning by doing.
Yes, learning by doing, but we are talking about writing for a purpose. We don't, they're not scribbling anything. When you ask children, some children who are weak, especially in class, and you give them a comprehension passage and you ask them, these questions have to be answered based on the passage, they will write something. They will not be able to write the correct answer. So that we have to, make sure that every child is able to read the passage and write the answer by themselves. Then only we can say that they have attained foundational literacy. They have to be able to read any question. If it's a mathematical question, if it's a concept based question, if it is like you saying, you've given them 5-6 pictures and they have to sort. So they should be able to read the question. If suppose the question says, sort all the red things and circle them. So they should be able to do that. They should be able to do that independently. That means they have achieved the required learning outcome for that particular class. Clear? Okay. Then, right. So we're going to talk about the different aspects of foundation literacy in learning. You can definitely take a screenshot if you like. This is a very nice slide to keep with you. So we're talking about oral language development. That means includes improved listening comprehension, oral vocabulary, extended conversation skills. Experiences in oral language are important for developing skills of reading and writing. Now, there's a lot of stress on oral language development because the children learn to speak before they learn to write. We all agree? So, yeah, and if you train them to be confident speakers, if you train them to use language properly, because the children who are in pre-primary stages, we have to train them, we have to give them words. Even for, the instructions that we give them, they have to understand how to respond to instructions. You have to train them how to respond to instructions. Like, for example, suppose you have a rule in class, that during circle time, you all sit down, but one child is refusing to sit down. So you will have to, bring the child in and say, okay, when everybody sits down, you have to sit down. And, when everybody's participating in a circle time, you also have to participate in a circle time. So the more you speak with children, the more the children speak with you, they become confident speakers. So oral language development plays a major role in their confidence building, and that confidence will be exhibited when they are learning. That means they get confidence. Okay, now, when the teacher says, I can understand it and I can do it, and I will be able to read as others are reading, and they will get inspired to do the same. Now, we're also talking about decoding. So decoding is also it's an important key component of foundation literacy and numeracy. It involves deciphering written words based on understanding the relationship between the symbol and the sounds. Any English language teacher here? Okay, or any foundational stage teacher here who can explain this to me? Involves deciphering written words. What have you understood by this? Okay, no problem. What is happening is, it's the same thing that you're doing in your pre-primary classroom. It's not different. Okay, I'll just explain what it means here. We do in the pre-primary stages, we do reading in staged form. We don't do reading. We don't teach the children, big words. We start with the single letters and the sounds. First, we teach ABCD with sounds. They learn phonic sounds of ABCD. Yes. And what do they learn after the phonic sounds of ABCD? Can somebody type in the chat box?
2-letter words, 3-letter words.
Absolutely. They learn 2-letter words and 3-letter words. Those 2-letter words, 3-letter words, are they called something?
Are they?
Called something, because we just don't pick them. Okay, they are there in a sequence. What do we call them? They're called CVC words, consonant vowel consonant words. They're called blends. They're called digraphs, right? So they're words which are 2-letter, 3-letter words, and word families. We do word families with them. So that is a staged process. So reading can be acquired when you move, from stage 1, that is recognition of phonic sounds, to the CVC words, then the blends and the digraphs. Blends are nothing but, the CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant is, who can tell me? Like ATE, 8. 8 is a vowel, consonant, vowel word. Can you give me an example of a CVC word?
BAN, ban. Consonant, vowel, and
Yes.
consonant.
SIT, sit, is also consonant, vowel, consonant. So if you understand how learning is, staged, and if you see that your curriculum is properly, staged, it is properly, scaffolded, then the children will be able to understand. So they will be able to pick up the relationship between symbols and their sounds. That means what the word is and how they will have to spell it, instead of making the children read the words again and again, 20 times. You don't have to struggle. You'll have, if you explain to them the concept, say about 3 to 5 times, and they practice it, they will be able to read fluently. So to achieve fluently, repetition is not enough, but understanding is more desirable. Is this clear? Is decoding clear? Okay.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
let's look at reading fluency. Now, this reading fluency, it refers to the ability to read a text with accuracy, speed, that is automaticity, and expression, and comprehension that allows children to make meaning from the text. Many children recognize aksharas but read them laboriously one by one. So we're talking about reading fluency. The same thing I was talking about is uh, when the children are beginning to read and they're given a small passage, or when the children are beginning to read and they are given one particular sentence. Suppose in pre-primary 1, the sentence is, the cat sat on a mat. If the children are able to read that, but they don't understand the meaning, then it doesn't mean that they're reading with fluency. And also, reading fluency means what is the time the child is taking to read that particular sentence. So if the child is able to read the sentence fluently, without any without any teacher support, and also with comprehension, that means the child should be able to explain to you that they are able to read with comprehension what it means. The child should be able to explain the sentence to you. So that is when they have achieved reading fluency. So when I understand that in your classes more than 20 children must be there, no?
Yes.
Yeah, so then it will be very difficult for you to attain that. So I would suggest that all of you rethink how we are restructuring the classrooms. How many children should be allowed to sit in the group? What kind of children do we mix so that the learning happens within the children as well? So that will help you in achieving reading fluency with other children who are struggling with reading. Often we see there is enough research to support that children who are struggling with reading, if they sit along with children who are fluent in reading in the same group, they will tend to catch up early. All right, then we're talking about reading comprehension.
क्लास नहीं है आज
Somebody's mic is on. Yeah, could you
Ma'am,
please?
we know that we are facing this number of problems related to numeracy and literacy.
Yeah.
Then what would be the solution for this solving this problem? How to overcome with this problem? Even though in the other states like Kerala, they are the number 1 in education. So what are the strategies and whatever the policies they are following? Can we know this?
Okay, we're not going to look at the different states at this point of time. We're going to look at our specific school, because every solution that is going to be applicable to school is going to be based on the school. It is going to be based on how many children are there in your classrooms. It is going to be based on how many teachers are in the team and how they are planning. It will depend on what resources do you have in your classrooms for teaching your children. It will also depend on how the state is viewing this particular aspect, and what kind of support are you getting in the form of textbooks or any other resource material. So this is not just one problem that we can see what other states are doing and solve. It will depend on your context of the school. So if the coordinator or your team leaders, if they reach out to me, we can definitely suggest some strategies where this can be achieved. So again, coming back to reading comprehension, we're saying involving constructing meaning from a text and thinking critically about it. This domain covers the competencies of understanding text and retrieving information from them, as well as interpreting text. So it means the same thing. Like suppose you're doing storytelling, which is a common thing that the children do in pre-primary and primary grades. So if you're involving them in storytelling, which is a very interesting activity because it involves a lot of vocabulary that the child has to use. It involves that the children have to make up proper sentences to explain the story. So there's a lot of language development there. So if you're talking about reading comprehension, if they can we're talking about. Then the last part is the writing. This we talk about is this domain includes competencies for writing. Aksharas is nothing but the letters or the alphabets and words, as well as writing for expression. So when we're talking about foundation literacy numeracy, we're talking about the end of grade probably 2. They should be able to write independently, and they should be able to make meaning of what they write. Now, in which condition or case the children are not able to write properly? Can anybody tell me what makes it difficult for them to write properly?
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Yeah. In which condition do you think the children will not be able to write properly?
When he can't able to read it properly.
Exactly. Yes. That's one reason. Can somebody give me other reasons?
Difficulty in identifying the alphabets.
Absolutely. There is very good, ma'am. Can you tell me when is the difficulty?
Oh,
When they have a learning disorder. Have you heard about learning disorder?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, madam.
Yes.
Yes. So if they have a learning disorder, they will not be able to read and identify the words, and they will not be able to identify the letters or make meaning of what they are reading. And hence their writing will suffer. And that is how you will know. See, when the child speaks, the child will be very fluent. When the child is reading, maybe the child will be fluent, but the children with is this. Yasmin Begum, ma'am, please turn your mic off. Yasmin Begum, ma'am, please turn your mic off. So those children who are, what do you call, not poor in retention, but who are unable to understand any letters or joining of the letters or making meaning of the letters, they are the people who generally have learning disabilities. But some children, we cannot categorize everybody as learning disability, because some children are slow learners. That means they take time for them to understand a concept. It may take more than 2 months or more than 3 months, but once they pick up, they become fast. So by the end of grade 2, if they are not able to pick up concepts which have been taught in the pre-primary, then you can say that it is a matter of concern. But if the child is in grade 1 and 2 and the teacher says, "Meri aadhi class ko padhna nahi aata," that is not a good thing to say, because the teacher has still time to coach the children and to get them forward. Any questions at this point of time? All right, so we're going to talk about foundational numeracy now. इसमें foundational numeracy में these are the key concepts. You can definitely take a screenshot of this because this is also an important part of, what do you call, understanding what the foundational numeracy is. So foundation numeracy is nothing but pre-number concepts, that is counting and understanding the number system. What number system do we teach the children?
Indian standard and international, madam.
Absolutely.
Indian.
We teach them both. We start off with the Indian standard and later on we go to the international standard. So if the children are able to count and understand the number and they have done enough activities to understand that, that means their number concepts are clear. Then one part or the key concept of foundational numeracy is attained. And we're talking about numbers and yeah, Zahra Ansari, could you please? Okay, so we have numbers and operations on numbers. So learn conventions needed for the mastery of mathematical techniques as use of a base 10 system to represent numbers. So when we teach them single digits, double digits, that is somewhat of a difficult concept for them. They have to understand, they have to understand that what is single digit, what is double digit, and how double digit is used for different operations and how different operations can be carried out using that. Then, to understanding of that particular concept, it becomes really clear to them. Then we say that the children have attained some amount of foundational numeracy there. Then another key concept of foundation numeracy is shapes and spatial understanding. Who can tell me what is spatial understanding? How many of you know multiple intelligences? Anyone here
It
know?
means solving more than two things at a time.
Spatial awareness? No, that's not spatial awareness. Okay, yes.
It was
Yes.
multiple understanding, madam, not spatial.
No, multiple intelligences, not multiple understanding. I'm talking about multiple intelligences. How many of you know multiple intelligences?
Multiple
That
is might
means
be
they are
for
good
visual,
in English,
visual, I
mathematics,
think.
in different subjects.
Can you please repeat that, ma'am? I did not understand that.
That means they are good in social, maths, multiple understanding, that means.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Naida, ma'am. Bahad sir, you said something. Could you please repeat that? Yeah, Bahad
And
sir.
might be visual understanding, it includes.
Right. So I will just wait. I will just spend some time here because you need to understand that there are different ways that the children learn. Okay, and you can say that there are three different types of learners. Okay, first type of learner are the visual learners. That means the children who look at things and they learn. उनको जो है बहुत whatever you display right on the board, whatever is they read in the book, whatever objects you show, they catch up information, they catch up knowledge just by looking at that. Okay, so visual learners, all of us are mostly visual learners. Okay, second type of learners are the auditory learners. Now auditory learners are जो सुन के सीखते. There are some children in your classes जो आपके instructions आप ऐसा बोलते कर देते देखो. So those children are auditory learners. उनको आप जो भी sound सुनाए, जैसा आप अगर बोले या कोई और बोले या बाहर कोई आवाज आ रही, वो उसमें आवाजों में interested रहते हो लोग. So second type of children are auditory learners. एक बार बोले तो सुन के सीख लेते हो लोग. Third type of children are kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic learners are those children who learn by doing. तो ऐसा हम बोल नहीं सकते कि मेरी क्लास में जो है सिर्फ 5 बच्चे विजुअल लर्नर है, फिर 10 बच्चे जो है ऑडिटरी लर्नर है और बाकी के बच्चे काइनेस्थेटिक. ऐसा नहीं रहता. तो इसके लिए हम एक अलग भी वर्कशॉप कर सकते हैं नेक्स्ट टाइम देखने के लिए कि ऐसे बच्चों को हम कैसा पढ़ाना. तो अब ये जो डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ लर्नर्स हैं उनके अलग अलग मेंटल मेकअप्स रहते. ये तो हम एबिलिटी बोले कैसा लर्न करते, मगर कुछ बच्चे जो है मतलब सब बच्चों के अलग अलग जहानत रहती. एंड दैट is different types of intelligence. Some children are gifted in understanding literacy. मतलब वो लोग बहुत fluent readers रहते, उनके अम्मा बाबा भी नहीं पढ़ते होंगे, but they are very quick in catching up words. So उनके पास जो है word fluency और they have this different type of ability, जो intellectual ability रहती है उनकी बहुत तेज रहती है पढ़ाई में. That is in reading. Some are very good in doing mathematics. Some are very good in doing art. Some are very good in doing music. Some are very good in understanding concepts, or they are intrigued by the concepts which are, spatial. जैसे for example, classroom आप जमाते, suppose आप clean करवा रहे हैं और सबको बोल रहे हैं कि classroom जमाइए या आपने organize करिए अपनी जगह को, अपने desk को organize करिए. बाज बच्चे बहुत neatly organize करते, देखिए आप. You don't have to say that again. I mean, इतना neat organize करते, उसके जैसा करो बोलते आप.
It is the inherent.
Sorry. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is definitely inherent. And
More intelligent. So
yeah,
sometimes what we can say that even though the parents, they are well educated and they are in well mannered, but the children, they are unable to do that one.
yes, because उनकी intelligence वो तरफ नहीं है. They don't have that kind of ability या skill या cognitive ability हम बोलते हैं उसको. ठीक है? So we will talk about those intelligences and types of learners. इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट अगर मैं आपके साथ ली तो आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट. तो अब नाउ स्पेशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के मतलब ये है कि जो इंसान अपनी स्पेस ऑर्गेनाइज कर सकता, मतलब अपनी स्पेस में कौन सी चीज कहाँ होना है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप अपने स्कूल में भी देखे होंगे, कुछ क्लासरूम्स बहुत अच्छे नीटली अरेंज रहते और कुछ क्लासरूम्स नहीं रहते. तो इसका मतलब हम भी एज अ इंडिविजुअल हमारे भी स्पेशल स्किल्स रहते. अच्छा, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू यूज टू व्हीलर्स और फोर व्हीलर्स टू ड्राइव? जो ड्राइव करते हैं, हाँ इसमें हाथ उठाइए. ओके गुड, बहुत सर आप तो करते हैं. और एनी अदर फीमेल? यस. ओके ओके. so if you have driven even a bicycle, you would know that road पे आके आप जब आप ड्राइव करते तो you will आप ये ड्राइव नहीं करते कि मैं फिजिक्स अप्लाई करके ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ कि मेरे को इतना स्पीड से जाना है या ये एंगल से गाड़ी आएंगी. इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. आप खुद ब खुद सीख जाते रोड पे जाके कि मेरी गाड़ी कितनी जगह लेंगी और मैं किस डायरेक्शन में जाऊंगा और कौन सी गाड़ी किस तरफ से आ रही. सो दैट इज स्पेशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ठीक है. सो कुछ बच्चे शेप्स और स्पेशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में अच्छे होते, बट सारे बच्चों को ये सीखना होता. सो व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सिंपल कंप्यूटेशन वेयर 3 डिजिट नंबर्स के ऑपरेशंस ये लोग कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि व्हाट आर द ऑपरेशंस? एडिशन, सब्ट्रैक्शन, मल्टीप्लिकेशन
एंड डिवीजन.
यस नाहिदा मैम, एंड डिवीजन. तो ये सब जो है स्पेशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में ही आता. मैथमेटिक्स जो है बच्चों की स्पेशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में आता. तो ये whoever is able to do that, it becomes easy for them to, जो स्पेशल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में अच्छे रहते हैं ना बच्चे, वो लोग की मैथमेटिक्स क्वालिटीज बहुत अच्छे रहते. आप देखे होंगे कुछ बच्चे जो है रीडिंग में अच्छे रहे तो मैथ्स में उतने अच्छे नहीं रहते. तो दैट मीन्स उनकी रीडिंग फ्लुएंसी अच्छी रहती, मैथमेटिकल स्पेशल जो उनकी एबिलिटी रहती उतनी अप टू द मार्क नहीं रहती. सो वी हैव टू ट्रीट आवर चिल्ड्रन इन द सेम वे कि हम ये नहीं बोल सकते आज हमारे पास 25 बच्चे तो हम उनको पढ़ा रहे हैं. हमको ये सोच के जाना है क्लास में कि हमारा हर बच्चा इंडिविजुअल है, उसकी एक अपनी इंटेलेक्चुअल कैपेसिटी है, उसका एक अपना लर्निंग स्टाइल है. तो हम सारे बच्चों को इकट्ठे रख के कैसे पढ़ा सकते हैं और हमको कैसे कैसे एक्टिविटीज करना है ताकि ये बच्चे फाउंडेशन लिटरेसी और न्यूमरेसी ले सके. एनी क्वेश्चन एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम? ठीक है. अभी मैं इसका एक ये कॉन्सेप्ट्स खत्म करके फिर देन आई विल टॉक अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट द आपका जो क्लासरूम सेटअप है. ओके. तो नेक्स्ट कॉन्सेप्ट इज मेजरमेंट. So measurement is also a very important concept of foundational key concept of foundational literacy. Measurement हम कैसे कैसे सिखा सकते हैं? यहाँ पे कोई मैथ्स टीचर्स है हमारे पास?
यस मैम.
जी नाहिदा मैम, बताइए आप कैसे कैसे सिखा सकते हैं मेजरमेंट?
By using the real life situation, like doors measure करो, अपनी हाइट मेजर करो, ऐसा.
एग्जैक्टली. और
वेस्ट मेजर करना, अपना वेस्ट मेजर करना.
यस.
आप कितने साल के हो, these are the measurements.
एग्जैक्टली.
We can talk about.
Exactly. तो उनको पहले हाथ से भी measure करना सिखा सकते हैं आप.
Yes, ma'am.
You can show them how to measure with hand. You can show them how to measure with elbow. आपकी elbow से भी एक foot length होता है आपका, वो सिखा सकते हैं आप. Then you can talk about rulers. जैसे आप उनको ruler बनाने के लिए दीजिए या ruler खरीद के उससे measurement करवाइए, या फिर उनको different tools दीजिए, जैसे वो
What is the difference between meter, centimeter, millimeter like this? We can use.
मेरे ख्याल से inches और centimeter
Yes.
ज़्यादा use होता है, right?
Inches, centimeters, these are the very common words which
Yeah.
was used in the real life situations.
Exactly. इसका एक बहुत interesting homework बताइए जो आप दे सकते हैं. अभी आपने जैसे बताया, एक होमवर्क बताइए जिसका हम दे सकते हैं जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होगा
Find
बच्चों
the
के.
height of your family members
Yes.
in inches.
Yes. In feet, in inches. अच्छा, okay, inches भी. Okay, good.
In inches also, no, ma'am.
Okay, good.
First of all, we have to understand the inches, then
जी.
feet. They can easily.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So it's a very interesting, assignment to do. और ये बहुत अच्छा assignment इसलिए नायदा मैम, क्योंकि बच्चे अपनी फैमिली के साथ इन्वॉल्व हो रहे हैं. तो इनफैक्ट अगर आप फाउंडेशन लिटरेसी और न्यूमरेसी
Family
की
is
बात
the
करें,
first. Family is the first school.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, I
yeah.
agree. So मैं वही बता रही हूँ कि अगर बच्चे फैमिली के साथ मिलके कुछ लर्निंग एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं, इससे अच्छा कुछ नहीं है. बिकॉज जब पेरेंट्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं या फैमिली इन्वॉल्व होती है अबाउट लर्निंग अ कॉन्सेप्ट, देन इतना जल्दी बच्चे सीखते हैं और उनकी लर्निंग बहुत काफी टाइम तक रिटेन होती है. सो इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट एज वेल.
और ये भी दे सकते हैं मैम, वो उन लोगों को एक होमवर्क टाइप में कि अगर 5th क्लास का स्टूडेंट है, 6th क्लास का स्टूडेंट है, तो मेजर योर हाउस, मतलब अपने घर के वॉल्स को मेजर करके आइए, डोर्स को मेजर करो इन मीटर्स आल्सो, दे मे अंडरस्टैंड, बेटर अंडरस्टैंड.
Okay. So we're just talking about up till grade 3 right now. Inshallah हम next session अगर करेंगे तो उनके लिए भी देखेंगे. Okay. Okay, so now data handling. Data handling क्या है कि identify the extended simple patterns. Now data handling के लिए बहुत important key concept है ये numeracy का, because जो data handling जब बच्चे करते ना, तो they understand comparison and they understand consolidation. तो data handling में can you give me an example of data handling at grade 2 level?
Ma'am, it's a common example. If they go to the kirana shopper to purchase their chocolates and biscuit and all the items, they calculate how much they have purchased and how much money they have spent. They make a list. I have purchased 2 biscuit packets and 5 chocolates and 1 lollipop. In this way, they can do the data work.
Yes.
What is the cost of per chocolates?
Yes.
And how many amount they are spending on that, and maybe pencils, stationaries.
Yes.
And how much money they are getting and back.
Calculating the cost and also the type of things that they're buying is a very good aspect of collecting data. But we're talking about simple data collection in the form of daily activities. जैसे for example, हम एक छोटा सा survey कराएं क्लास में. आज आपके पास बच्चे आए and you're talking to them and we do a simple survey. In fact, मैं वो survey आपके साथ करती हूँ अभी right now. So can we look at how many people ate roti for breakfast today? Raise their hands. उस तरीके से आप एक छोटा सर्वे करा सकते हैं, right? So then you can ask, okay, if you didn't eat roti, did you eat a fruit or did you eat an egg in the morning? How many people drank milk in the morning? तो इस तरीके से आप छोटे छोटे सर्वेज जब आप कराते तो उनको मतलब खुद पता चलता है कि ये डेटा है, या फिर आप उसका डेटा नहीं, you're talking about any other data where you're saying कि आज मेरी क्लास में so many children are present, so many children are absent. तो ये भी एक डेटा हो गया. So जब बच्चे डेटा समझने लगते हैं and they learn how to handle data, that is also a key concept in foundation literacy and numeracy. ये concept actually जो मैं आपको पढ़ा रही हूँ ये बहुत बड़ा है. मैं साजिद सर से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि मुझे एक सेशन और दे क्योंकि ऑलरेडी 10 o'clock हो गए and I would not like to keep you.
इंशाल्लाह definitely.
जी, तो मैं कंटिन्यू करना चाहूंगी सर. इसमें मैं थोड़ा सा और डिटेल में जाके इनको असेसमेंट के बारे में भी बताना चाहूंगी so that they become more confident in dealing with what they are doing.
Inshallah. You mean same day next week?
Inshallah sir.
और साजिद सर मैम के पास अगर टाइम है तो अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
संडेज जो है अगर कम से कम 45 मिनट मैम अपना जो है प्रीशियस टाइम में अगर स्पेयर करे तो वो टीचर्स के लिए काफी जो है कुछ फायदा होगा. I too have attended the session. It is really informative.
Jazakallah khair, sir. Sir, Sundays, generally I'm busy. If it is on Saturday, I'll adjust, inshallah. Saturday timing, I will definitely, Sajid sir se coordinate कर लीजिए आप. I'll come to know. You can reach me at my number. आप Sajid sir से number भी ले सकते हैं.
जी.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I would like a quick feedback from the teachers today. आज हमने discuss किया foundation literacy numeracy, and we learned about the key concepts of foundation literacy numeracy. If you think we were able to achieve the objectives of the foundation literacy and numeracy, please write between 1 to 5. Write in the chat box. If you like the concept, then it would be 5 points. If you did not understand the concept well, then it would be 1 point. Between 1 to 5, please rate this experience of yours of this session in the chat box, please, so that I come to know. Thank you, Bahad sir. Thank you, Vaidot. I would like the teachers to please rate. Okay, mashallah. Feedback लेना बहुत important है. Thank you so much for a quick feedback. Alhamdulillah. Okay, Jazakallah khair. So, inshallah, Sajid sir, we will see inshallah next time again.
Inshallah. So before we end, I would like to thank particularly you have taken time in this morning. You got a very good engagement with the teachers and all. For them, maybe few these concepts are, I mean, they do know, but you see, brushing up their knowledge and all is required. And I think the teachers are also disconnected. So it is also a type of reconnection. Let us hope to have more such sessions, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Not
sir.
you, but in your friend circle and all whom you know, let us work for, because if our children, the dropout rate is very among Muslims. Do something for them.
I'm thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sir, and I'm thankful to you for this platform AMEI who have given me this opportunity, and I'm thanking today's audience for their participation. Thank you so much for being reciprocative and responsive, and I hope to come back to this platform again, and inshallah we'll do it a little bit more from here. Jazakallah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
हाँ.